Yeah, you can only talk on the phone. That's fine. All right, I'm back, y'all, and this is Bite Binge there on the phone. He's just on the
I'm
phone.
here on a phone call.
He's on
It's
a.
a technology that existed before Discord.
It was long before Discord, and it works. Thank
I
God.
think Alexander Graham Discord invented Discord, and there's this guy who invented the phone. His name was Alexander Graham Bell.
I thought he was Graham Phone.
No,
Uh,
Bell.
uh,
And he founded the Bell Company, and then they became a monopoly, and then basically the government prevented any other businesses from running phone lines in America because they became a monopoly. Because in America, if you're the biggest corporation and you're like buddy with the government, you get to put down anyone who's an up and coming upstart, right, in the phone industry. That's how America works.
So
that's how we do it.
Yes, it is. And now it's time to look at a video here. So I was talking to Byte here, and he's invested currently in Mullen Automotive. And Mullen Automotive is a company that I also a long time ago invested in and got burned. I went long with Mullen, and that was a big mistake. It was only $500, but I figured at the time, if they became a very successful electric automobile manufacturer, that $500 would blow up. And had they done that, it would have. But instead, they have driven their company into the ground, and it is basically it's a snowball's chance in hell that they're actually going to be able to do anything. So what's up, Chabi Skuria? I can do better than that. Cha Ibi Skui with Ray. Fine.
Oh, that was much better. You really improved the pronunciation.
I know. I got that one well. Anyway, all right. It's gonna be Ray.
You nailed it that second time.
That makes it. Oh, it's chai biscuit with Ray. That's what it is. It's actually English. It's fucking English.
Hey, that reminds me. His name is Chai Biscuit. I want to tell you this idea I came up with. I'm gonna interrupt for a second. You ready?
All right. Go ahead.
Okay. So you start a beef jerky company.
Okay.
You know what we're gonna call it?
What?
Circle Jerky. And for every 20 bags of Circle Jerky that you order, you'll get a free biscuit.
A limp biscuit?
Exactly. A lot of people don't know what I'm talking about, but I thought you would appreciate that.
Yes, that is a company. I mean, go ahead. I mean, I want everybody to achieve their dreams and ambitions. Speaking of dreams and ambitions, Mullen Automotive was in an interview here, and the timestamp once again. Give me that exact timestamp so we get this right.
It was like 12:35.
Okay, we're right there. We're right there. We're gonna watch this. Keep in mind, right this very moment, Byte Binge here has $1,500 worth of Mullen shares.
No, shares. 1,500 shares. That's like $700.
Oh, 1,500 shares. Excuse me. It's not near as bad as I thought it was. So that's, yeah, never mind. Okay, that's not even close to as bad as I thought. But still, this is what his money's in.
On the bright side, Mitchell's extreme compensation gave us perhaps the most entertaining interview in the history of Fox Business.
A lot of concerns about your salary, the losses. I went through the last quarter. One thing that jumped out at me on general and administrative spending, $31 million. Just as a business itself, why are you spending $31 million on SG&A costs and things like that?
Well, we're a growing business. Obviously, this is a space where it's very expensive to get a vehicle into production.
That's the research and development side. I got you, but the general and administrative costs to me are just outlandish. And particularly, here's the thing: people are saying you've taken a lot of money, you paid yourself a lot of money, and this kind of spending, it just doesn't make sense for a small company like yours.
It's my money.
Well, in relation to let's say compensation, whatever compensation that was awarded me in my employment contract, or compensation pursuant to awards were given, and
David, can you hear me? You're fading out, and I've got 20 seconds. One last thing: these stock splits. Okay, I've read your firm. What the firm is saying is that these stock splits were done to stay compliant with Nasdaq listings. But every time you split your stock, it becomes fodder for the shorts. I mean, we go 1 for 25 and then one for authorized, 1 for 100 to do 1 for 9. We know that the shorts pounce. So, folks, it looks like we're having some audio issues with David. We're running out of time.
Mitchery pretended to have issues with his audio, but this obviously was not the case. The host had already asked the question. Mitchery clearly heard the question because he started answering it. If his audio had really cut out, there's no way he even could have known this, as nobody else was talking. Now we're about to get into the most bizarre part of the Mullen story. In April of 2023, they announced a new joint venture called Mullen Advanced Energy Operations. They created this JV with a company called Global EV Technology Inc.
And now he's on to a different point. Just so you know.
Okay, we'll stop there. That's the point that needed to be made. Was
So yeah, I just want to let you know about that interview where he pretended he definitely pretended. He realized he was going off on a weird tangent he didn't know where he was going. He had no explanation, so he just pretended like he had audio issues.
yep,
He couldn't participate anymore in the interview.
classic.
Which is really what seems like what happened.
I think that's exactly what happened there. And again, he reverse split my $500 worth of stock so much. I held Diamond Hands $500 for several years, and it's worth zero.
You know what he looked like?
Zero. Like it actually
Did you ever
went.
know what he looked like?
I didn't. He's a fat ass. But like, he's a fat ass because he's eating burgers with my money and he's not making cars. So it's too bad that he took my money and spent it on whatever the fuck he spent it on. That's the risk you take when you invest in a shitty company. At least I didn't put a lot of money into it. So when we left off in here, this didn't work. So our issue here is that in line 52 and 3 here is the issue, which is I think these. That doesn't make sense. But there's a semicolon error. Ugh. I don't want to do that. There's a semicolon error, slash error, an expected semicolon, and those are the real issues. And those are all in this animator CS file, which is this. So did I not save it, or there's a slash somewhere that's not? I may have accidentally cut a comment out. It's here. This is it. It's right there. So I bet this should take care of that, and hopefully this will now work. But what I did was I went into the console after compiling, and compiling is when you take all your code and make it play. Then I looked in this error area here. There's a bunch of red shit, and from the top down you start reading errors until you figure out what the problem is. So it told us what the real problem was first, and then the results of what that problem was. The slash was there, that was the issue, and now there's still an issue. Is casting is not a real thing. It's not the right thing. It is cast. So that is incorrect syntax. I don't know if this needs to stay too. I think this would be fine. This, though, we have to set. In the animator, we have to set the bool of cast. I think that is casting, which we just declare this inherently. All right, well, let's try it. Nothing is going to give us more feedback than us trying that. No, it's still wrong. So let's try that again. See, we may have to just cut that out for the moment. Yeah, it's still having a problem. Cast doesn't exist either. So, got this sucker. This isn't going, is it? No. Alright. Okay, that's fine. Where do I get to the animation? It's under the controller. I think it's here. There it is. Okay, here's the animation. And it's called casting. That's why it's not called cast. It's called casting. I have to keep my shit together. Alright, let's see if that'll work. Still casting not exist. Why are we doing both of these? For all these other ones, we just set it and that's it. Casting is a not true false. That's the reason. So this needs to be not a trigger. It needs to be a bool. That's the reason. So, how the F do we do that? I know we can add another one. Come on, can't I change your variable or your data type? Casting, come on. You're not gonna let me change your data type, you piece of garbage. Alright, we'll leave that there. We're just gonna have to put the 2, and we're gonna have to put a bool 1 on here. And can't drag that around like I used to be able to. I'm going to comment these out and see what happens if it just sets these bools instead. This work? Yeah, I won't be using Notepad++ for long. I'll be installing Visual Studio after I buy it, which I have to do with my own money. So I will be getting to that shortly. Yes, I'm a real one. We got to do it in Notepad++ for a while anyway.
Have you tried using XML Notepad?
No, what's the difference? Does it have IntelliSense?
Well, it has almost like a mini GUI instead of Notepad, to where you can actually create elements,
Hell yeah. Okay.
like comments and stuff. So if you look up XML Notepad, I started using that, and it's like changed everything for me. Like I used to use Notepad++
Mm-hmm.
a lot, and then I learned XML Notepad is way better.
Interesting.
So I would recommend looking into XML Notepad.
Sure.
Look it up.
All right, let's see our state of this. All right, he's there. We've got lots of linked objects. We can move 2 of them. He walks. He does not change his direction. We've got no sprite renderer attached to the night game object. We need to put a sprite renderer on him in order to make that work. Let's see what else we can do with this knight. Can we attack? Yes, we can do an attack. Excellent. He does not resume walking or idle after his attack. That's my fault. He can cast, but does not hold the cast. So that doesn't work. But in all, there's some improvement here. So we'll get it going. And every one of these little issues we'll have to fix one by one. So issue number 1 is that there is no sprite render. Clearly, this is constantly causing a non-breakpoint problem for this guy. How many times did the sprite renderer want to be called? Tons. Well, let's go look at it. I think we have to add it. I'll bet it is a sprite renderer. I bet I can search for it. Sprite renderer. Sure. Okay, there it is. For this object, the knight. And flip is exactly what we want to do. So now that I have that on here, let's see if it's better. I just put it on there just to have it contain the class, you know. So hopefully it'll turn left and right now. No. Now if I do this. Oh, it's not doing
By
it.
the way, just to go over your chat, you do have Jail Baron says, Jeremy, this is a cool-ass project. I've dabbled with self-employment with varying success over the years. And I found it very satisfying. Traditional employment can be exhausting, as you said. I was wondering, how did you make the transition upon moving back from Japan between teaching
It's
and
a
becoming a
really,
programmer?
really good question. What I did was I did not make a lot back then. It was about $38,000 a year, and Kaio made about $15,000 a year. So we did not make a lot of money, and we did not. We didn't pay a lot for the house we were living in, so that was nice, and we managed to save about $20,000. And at that time, the Fukushima disaster occurred, and everybody in Osaka freaked out, and there was no water, and it wasn't necessary. The reaction was an overreaction. The cesium in the water was not killing anybody, and it was an overreaction. But because the traces of cesium were there, people freaked out, and I was among those people, because when COVID happened and all the toilet paper was gone, even if the supply chain didn't truly shut down and there was toilet paper, it was still freaking everybody out. Nobody liked that. It was the same situation in Japan back then. So we made the decision to leave. We did that for other reasons too. We couldn't have a kid there because their school systems have some issues that I was not willing to have a child in. So we moved to LA. And my first attempt to do something like this was that. Kaio will never forget the fact that I failed miserably to make it as a self-employed person the first time I tried to do it. That will never go away. I blew that $20,000 over 2 years on rent and on just eating and trying to schmooze it in Hollywood. It did not work. And then Put It in Your Mouth LA happened, and Sam and I had the falling out. It was all a mess. So there was no working then. It was me trying to achieve some dream that was not going to happen. That was not going to happen. After examining that situation, after all that time, and looking at what it really was, we could not come to any other conclusion that we were not going to achieve that. And that the way to get there, what it took for me to make it in Hollywood, was something I wasn't willing to do. So since that all happened, I decided I needed help, to get back into employment. I could not get a job anywhere. I could not get a job at a bar. I couldn't get a job at McDonald's. I couldn't get a job at the weed dispensary. I could not get a job at the bus station. I couldn't get a job anywhere in these Hollywood places unless it was an internship, which is free. So I was competing against mostly people who don't speak English, which was interesting because I was also doing that in Japan. So I'm kind of used to that. But I didn't think that I would lose out on these really base level jobs like being a bartender, or that I would be asked to do like additional favors and additional free work to get really low level jobs in Los Angeles. So I looked for help with Japan. So anyone coming from Japan, I'd give the same advice to. I would say, look to the Japanese to help you out. Go to a Japanese temp agency. Go to somewhere that is a Japanese-owned company and apply directly, and try to get into work that will not require an international background check. Because most American companies don't have the resources to properly conduct an international background check. So what they'll do is you'll get in there and they'll be like, you look great. Wow, it's a great work history you have. Oh, you're educated, all this. Our background company can't get a hold of your previous employers. They don't speak Japanese. It's like, how we can't verify your employment, sir. And that's what happened a lot. So if you go to a Japanese company, they won't have any issue with your international background check, and they'll be able to follow up on your references. So you'll be able to get your foot in the door again in America, and you'll be able to start. I started at a company called Mikuni, and it was an aircraft parts supplier. Turned out to be corrupt. They were taking parts of other people's airplanes, and they were spray painting them and rebranding them and selling them for a higher price. They were not doing anything to these parts. They were importing parts and then selling them for higher prices, sometimes with a dubious legality. So I did not last very long there. And the temp agency that I tattled to about the way that company did business, they liked it that I told them. They were not upset. Sometimes people get really upset if you expose any kind of corruption, and sometimes people don't get upset when you expose corruption. That's just what working in these companies is like. So because the temp agency had a third-party relationship with the Mikuni company, they really wanted to know about what the heck they were doing, and that was helpful. So because that was helpful, they ended that temporary assignment for me, and they decided to make a permanent assignment, and they wanted to relocate me, and that's why they sent me to Georgia, and that's what they did. And from that point, can't talk about my employment at all. I've gone through several different stages of employment and multiple employers since then, so that all is still ongoing. But that Mikuni thing, it was a very, very helpful thing. I'm still very grateful to mostly the temp agency. The temp agency is called eCareer. They're awesome. I recommend them completely. The Mikuni, not so much. They're probably still doing business. They make carburetors and other things too. They're not just an aircraft supplier that rebrands people's parts. But they were doing that, and I'm not ashamed at all to say it because it was happening. And I'd say the truth. It's what I do. People might not like it. It's just the way it is. Anyway, that was Mikuni, and that was my answer to the how did I make it afterwards. It was very difficult. I did not expect the challenges that I got. It was overwhelming, actually, to come back. And if you're coming back too, it'd be great to prepare. And I don't know what I could have done. There's probably something I could have done involving the background checks. And I didn't think about it. I had an iPhone 3GS. I had no idea what was going on. It was a different time, different era. All right, so let's go back into our game here. It's all right, so I've got this sprite renderer, and it's on a none sprite, so I don't like that. I want this whole group. You know, see all of these sprites. See, that's the thing. I want the whole damn I want the prefab to be turned. Not all. There's so many sprites. So, none. Flip. All right, it's time to learn more about this. All right, where do I have the renderer? Oh, all right. I see what the casting thing needs. So I can fix that later. The sprite renderer, FlipX, is the issue.
By the way, I will interrupt and say, because before you answered that previous question, the Move Trails is here.
Oh, nice.
And he said, "What's up, Bite?" And what's up is that I'm making dinner.
Yeah, he's on the phone,
muting
on a
myself,
physical
muting
phone.
myself, and then chopping stuff, because I assume I don't want to add a chopping back. I can actually, here you go. Here, you want some chopping?
I can, yeah. Oh, you got it. You got sounds from the Bite Kitchen in your life right now.
I'm gonna saute this stuff.
Yeah,
I'm gonna saute this sweet pepper and onion and celery. I'm gonna saute it. I'm gonna put it in my meatloaf dish. That's right.
Sprite renderer.
Is that good ASMR? No. All right, I'm gonna.
It is. It's great. It's unfortunately coming in through the phone, but still, I'm good. I think that's really getting them deep immersion into your dinner. And Moog Trails is giving you positive feedback about the ASMR. It's what he needed. How do I deal with this sprite renderer? I want the whole prefab to flip. Now, this reminds me, this flip that I'm about to do, of a game that I think was also coded in Unity. But I'm not 100% sure that it was coded in Unity, but I think it was. And it's called, it's Rogue Legacy is what it's called. It's a very good game, but when those characters flip, it looks like a piece of paper, and it's very strange. Okay, I'm approaching this wrong. We have to get back into Notepad. This issue is with this sprite. So this sprite renderer here that I'm doing to flip the sprite, it'll only flip one sprite for this. And what I need to do is I have to do a transform local scale on the prefab itself in order to do it. And I think I can do that without adding anything. So I have bool is move. I've already got walk there. That's what I want. I'll keep it walk. And we'll do that. And paste this in here. Now, instead, we're just making an opposite vector. This is really similar to what we do in pool when we also want to hit an object with a collider and make it go either in or in the opposite direction of where it went. So like if it's going to ricochet off or something like that. There are more complex math involved with the angle of the collider and the angle of the vector that the sprite takes on afterwards. Anyway, this will probably work. So at least to flip it, we'll at least get a compiler if we don't. So. Oh yeah! What up? Look at that. He's fucking marching now. He fucking marches. He goes at a different rate than that box. And I can make these boxes and everybody march, or I could just march these two. 'Cause that's how I did it. His delay after I stop is not acceptable. I want him to stop walking quick. It needs to be crisp. But his start animation is excellent. I think we already know how to fix the back animation. We just didn't do it. And let's see.
The Midnight Captain is here. It says, "What's up, Nama? Since I'm stuck at work with 60-mile-per-hour winds outside, wish me luck."
I wish you luck. A tree just fucking came down on my house. You want to see a picture?
Today?
No, last weekend. It was awful. I took a bunch of damage. I had to get the HVAC replaced and do some plumbing stuff, and there's still actually problems with our washing machine. I'm going to give you a...
And also Nasty Matty is here. Although I think he already talked before. Never mind. I can't announce he was here. Forget my announcement.
He was here from the
Nasty
get...
Matty is still, Nasty Matty is still here, I should say.
That's not a very good... Okay. I think there's a bum huge or something. I need a... This is it. There's the tree. Check that out, Bite Binge. That's fucking wild. It is.
Oh, by the way, did you hear that? I forgot to even mute myself when I was doing the sizzling vegetables for sauteing.
This thing is the official reason why I took off of work today. Is this tree? So that's a whole nother problem I have, but not that big a deal, really. So I'm just taking advantage of a bad situation and making it into a good situation. That's the idea anyway. Let's go into the animator. There's so much I need to do in here. There's so many mistakes, and I'm sure we can get them fixed, possibly without even effing with the notepad, which would be great. Alright, the first thing is the walking. When we go back to idle, it sucks. The reason why, it has exit time. Fuck exit time. Alright, let's see what this does now. Oh, much better. It stops. It's a little bit... It's pretty good. That's reasonable. That's nice. You go up and down. He doesn't turn. He doesn't have a backside. We can give him a backside. And let's go to his attack animation and see if we can fix that. So his attack animation will go back to idle. That's the problem. It's not going back. That's the first thing. The transition needs at least one condition or an exit time to be valid. Has exit time. It has exit time because it's an attack. We want that. If it has exit time, that means, let's see how it looks. Shik. 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 He has a big backswing.
Oh, by the way, I want to take this time to mention Nasty Matty. This motherfucker, Nasty Matty, said I should be your butler, and I resent that.
Oh, yeah, he didn't like that.
Insulting motherfucker, Nasty Matty, is talking about how Bulb Number One should hire me as a butler.
Yes, not as a quality tester, not as a play tester, as a butler. I found that to be...
I just want to take this time to say fuck you to Nasty Matty for saying I should be his butler. That is all.
I hope that message was well received. Now, let's see what the attack looks like. I'm getting excited because this is just a generic piece of shit, but I'm going to put inside a fucking artificial intelligence into this stupid thing. I'm going to make it talk. I'm going to make it pick shit up. I'm going to make it think. It's going to be sweet. Now, anyway, we're walking left and right, and we are attacking. Attacking. Now, that thing goes over, and it looks like, look at the way this sprite goes. It goes backwards, and it's like it's hitting it with the hilt. Like, I think it's being held the wrong way or something. But the original animation here has the sword pointing almost the same direction. So I'm going to click on this sword here, which is not actually the sword. That's another thing. I actually gave this knight this thing in this scene. Oh my, there's the sword. It's different. So why is that? Why do I have two? Why is there a ghost one and this one? What's going on? Back out. Okay. No, here's the real deal. All right, I gotta get out of here. Stop. Back to the scene. Here's the scene. Here's my real deal. Okay. This thing normally has it. This one has been replaced with this dagger. Let's get this thing rotated correctly. So, according to the animation, this rotation needs to be like 90. Needs to be like 120. Yeah, like that. That's how he's supposed to hold this thing, according to the other animation. And I would love it if he would stab forward, and as much I need to do the AI part of this, I've got him doing what I need him to do, almost. Like, I need to stay focused. I want him to be cool, too. He's almost there. I want sound effects. It's hard to be satisfied. Alright, what's going on? Stop. Can we play now? Can we play the game? Play the game. Did turning that dagger... Okay, we got it. Looking good. He walks very nicely. It's looking more actually like he would really carry it. That's pretty cool. Attack? Not bad. An overhead strike. We've got now a pretty realistic looking overhead strike going on with a different weapon, so we can swap them out. What else can we do? We can cast. And we can go back to our animation properly after we attack and walk without floating around. Can we die? We sure? Well, kind of, but it doesn't stay dead. Oh, we need to make him stay dead. Like, how do we do that? Well, any state to death is fine. Death to idle has two things. Oh, hurt and death to idle are different. So what's this? Let's get that exit time in there, and then die. We need no exit time. I don't want you to transition back from death. When you're dead, you're dead. This needs to be a trigger. Die is a trigger. Die trigger is D. Do we have D or not? No, X. X is die. After the death, though, I don't want it to loop. But it'll go right back to him getting up. We don't want it to get up. That's the thing. This needs to be conditional. We need to revive is what we need. Okay. And this one... Die to idle. I mean, you should die. There should be no... We could do revive later. You can get the AI to do that. Moog Trails is saying, Bite Binge, that he would like to see you in a maid outfit, much like I went to those maid cafes in Osaka when I went to Nipponbashi. We all were live streaming. Alright, let's see what happens. Some of this stuff. Hurt, I don't remember what the move for hurt is. I'm going to take this code and move it over here so I can see it. Hurt is H. V is victory. I've never done V. So well, let's see what some of these new ones do. First, we'll do our walk. No, it's not working. There we go. Walk, walk, attack, attack. Ooh, a double attack. Oh, nice. You can do animation canceling. That's dope. All right, and so casting should be this. And then we've got this one is his hurt animation. So when he gets hurt, it's like casting still doesn't work. Die is this. He's fucking dead. He can't get up. We can't get him up. Can we attack him out? We can. Any state, an attack is like a revive. So what we do to revive is we take an any state and pull back with revive out to get him idle again. And that'll revive him if we want to do that. Really cool. And victory. What does victory look like? That is, he laughs. Or jerks himself off. Alright, we have a character. That's enough right now. I can probably clone him. I wonder if I can use the same controllers on the other characters and get a second one in here. And I want to put an AI in this one first before I duplicate a bunch of stuff. And speaking of AI, here we are with this crap, and we have to load a model. And last time it failed. It was missing tensor. So I'm now going to go into my other part of this roadmap where I do the AI portion. And I'm going to figure out what I didn't install. So this is definitely the right place. And I am going to ask it if it has moral limitations. That is the first thing. Also, my daughter is at rehearsal. I have to go pick her up. So I will be out of here in 20 minutes. But in the meantime, right now, I'm still doing this. I think I'm going to be able to find out how to deal with this.
Right now, you're still doing that? That's good to know. I was wondering what you were doing right now.
It ain't leaving. The AI install error. Oh my god. Select your Mixtral 8X7B model and remove it or delete it completely. That is horrible. It says it's corrupted. So I'm supposed to re-download it. It didn't work. That sucks. I'll get it downloaded. I don't have to stream myself downloading it, so I can download this all night. And hopefully tomorrow night, when I get back on here, I will be able to get this working. I need to install. I don't know how to uninstall.
How often do you currently plan on doing this? Like, do you have a schedule that you could share? Like, how often are you going to do this?
Well, I mean, I just jumped off this cliff, but I do plan on it's not a schedule. I'm planning on putting at least an hour a night into this after Yuna goes to sleep. I might need time off from that.
So you're saying a daily stream from here on out?
Yeah.
Or like 6 days a week or whatever, because obviously...
It would be 6 days a week. Yeah, I'm not on Sunday planning on doing this. But it's not because of religious reasons either. In fact, I might do it on Sunday because this is fun. This is more fun for me right now. This is the most fun I've had in a very long time. I had a lot of fun with Elden Ring. This is more fun. Like, it's like a video game, but better for me. I'm totally entertained. So I think it's gonna be what I do in my hobby time / I need to drink beer before the end of the night time, probably every night. So until at least I get the project done, and at that point, it's gonna be some serious decision making and some big changes, and then I might go for it every day, all day, which would be an 8-hour thing. It would involve lunches and me treating myself, obviously, as well as I would expect to be treated if I was hired by a game company. But yeah, that's pretty much the plan, and I'm not going to stop until I'm rich. That's the goal. I'm dead serious. It took a long time for me to charge up the attack, but it's time.
You should have you should have yourself arguing with yourself so that you'd be like trying to take a break. Man, I need a break, but then you switch your face the other direction. Like,
yeah, I know, that'd be hilarious if I start being an asshole boss.
Taking break, keep going, and then he's like,
yes,
you have an alter ego that you're.
I need to be Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, be my own boss, but be a total asshole to myself. Just fucking shit on my face and then take credit for all my own accomplishments.
But Smeagol likes the hobbitses. They hate you. Nobody trusts you. You'll never make this game.
Yeah, they don't have to trust me.
You will fail. And you're like, what is going on with bum number 1 recently?
I could totally... No, that would be... Yeah, that wouldn't be a boss. That would just be a troll. I ain't gonna fail. It ain't gonna happen. This is not L.A.
Well, you know, like Lord of the Rings where Smeagol's talking to himself in the movie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. You sounded just like that. It's like if there was a fucking grasshopper jar golem, he would be it. Yeah, there it goes. I wonder if there's a tiny model I can download that is not DeepSeek. DeepSeek, dude, is so small and so strong. It's Chinese. I'm scared of it because I'm prejudgmental and I don't know how to verify that it's not going to put me at risk. But there it is, DeepSeek. And look how small it is. If I look at this, 4 gigabytes. 4.
You know, the computer Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy was called DeepThink.
Yeah, that's similar, eerily so. So what can I do that's really tiny? Alright, so not that. 3. Gemma. Image. Text input models. Here's a small IBM one called Granite. I am definitely not going to be able to use this, but since I'm downloading AIs and I can just have models, I don't want anything I have to pay for. I know Llama's the best. This one right here you have to pay for. It's the Meta AI. Alright, there's a tiny llama. So hopefully I can end up looking at least how these models are set up and how I start editing them. Because, no, I'm running this on a beast. I'll show you my setup. I think it's going to be under File Explorer, My Computer, Properties. Alright, here's what I've got. Oh, I am missing RAM. I'm going to need to upgrade immediately. That's not good. I wonder if some of it went out. It used to have 64. I've got an i9, 290 gigahertz. If we look at it, we can see all the cores running somewhere. Alright, we got 12 cores and 24 logical processors on this bitch, so it's doing quite well.
I've got a cooking update.
Yeah, what's going on?
So I'm making meatloaf, which requires some ketchup in the meatloaf and for the glaze on top. And I found out that I'm very low on ketchup. But I went through all our ketchup packets. We have those dip and squeeze things,
Mm-hmm.
like that you see from like Chick-fil-A or other restaurants.
Right.
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 13 of those in the fridge. So I'm going to go through a lot of those dip and squeeze things. By the way, I have pictures I'm putting on Discord.
Nice.
My cooking process, so you guys can follow along. I'm taking a picture of my dip and squeeze also. I'll show you.
This is the way everything needs to be on the Discord. Oh, I'm gonna have to put a place in the Discord for this kind of stuff because it doesn't belong in the general chat, but I do want to put all the notes and the things that are resources for other people in there, links, stuff like that. I'm gonna take this very seriously, obviously. So anyway, this is the video card I have. It's it's more memory than the computer has, which is kind of scary, and I need to upgrade the RAM pretty quick.
You can add a cooking section, by the way, also, because I'm just throwing mine in the general.
Yeah.
No,
there
no
is a cooking
place.
section, and maybe someday when I'm more free, I will be able to do the live.
There is a cooking section?
There should be. I think there is. Discord. I'm so distractible today. I hope I'm more Steve Jobs. We'll see. At the end, Steve Jobs pushed people around, but depending on myself.
Recipes. So I guess I'll put it in there.
Yeah, recipes is the... Yeah, I knew there was one because I just put it in your mouth was always a thing.
All right,
so.
I'll put my pictures in there of my cooking process while I'm listening to you on cooking. Just so everyone... Cooking meatloaf and mashed potatoes.
I have a feeling that Discord is going to become a lot more useful place to be in the next year. So keeping it organized is definitely a good idea. All right, my llama's halfway done. My Mixtrol is
downstairs, so I gotta get off the phone.
All right, have a good
later.
fucking rest of your night. Thank you.
All right,
Bye.
bye.
It's always good to talk to Byte. So yeah, this one I know for a fact that I can have interacting with this API and talking to Unity and stuff. So that is. I got this thing, which is LM Studio, to run LLMs and more importantly, to test them after I train them and prompt engineer them and turn them into things that respond in ways that are not normal. So normally it's going to talk to you in English, right? I want it to speak in functions. I want it to do things like here. In this, I want this is the kind of shit that I want it always doing, and I want it doing it in the name of this object, for this object. I want it observing what this object observes. I want it to receive sensor data on a time schedule from this object, and I want it to respond. And I want it to respond also to the language commands in English that occur by the user, and I also want it to respond to those commands using a text bubble and actually talk. I want a limited speech to like 2 sentences response and stuff. Make it like a game, right? It's not gonna sit there and give you the fucking dissertation or I tell you what's going on in the news or big wall. It's got to be like a 2-sentence limit, something that fits in a certain limit of characters, that makes sense, that involves the game environment and the interactions between the different objects in the game environment. And it has to also be kind of manipulatable by the player so that it can be interesting. I want it to be interesting when I drop these characters into there and I say, this character, this is his deal. And this character, this is his deal. And drop them in there and let them do what they're going to fucking do. And watch it. It's a spectator sport. That's what this is. It's a demonstration of technology. So, yeah. By bringing in these language models, I'll be able to configure them. And when I've got them responding in the way that I want them to, unlike when it's on a cloud and controlled by ChatGPT or Meta or Grok or whatever the fuck it is, and they reset me, or they tell me I have to upgrade it, or they limit my session or charge me money or whatever they want to do. None of that shit's going to limit my morality, limit what the thing will do in my name. I don't want to limit the hardware where it can touch and control. None of that limitation is going to be in here. This is all local. It's going to be on my machine. And it needs 64K to run this of RAMs, or not K, gig of RAM to run this well. So I need to get 128 gigabytes of RAM stat along with the Visual Studio. I have a budget for this, so I'll be fine. Not going to be a lot of money. It's going to be a very small amount of money, but I do need to pay for these items. That sucks. But I'm not going to pay for a cloud service. Fuck that. So it's going to be very soon. 53 seconds, and I'll be able to load the first model, and we'll just be able to mess with this and see what it does. This is going to be a shit model, and it's also Meta's model. It's the Mike Zuckerberg one, and to use this model, even if you train it yourself or alter it, is something you have to pay a royalty or something to Meta for, and I'm unwilling to give Mike Zuckerberg even one dime because he turned Facebook into a fucking shitty place to go. I don't like it. 95%, really? Come on, 17 seconds left, really? Alright, it's still good. Looks like it's actually going to go. I wonder what was going on with the quality of my internet earlier today when this kept on failing. When that failure happened, that's probably what caused that error. That's probably what did it. I wonder if these are just torrents that are happening in the background. That often is the case with these kind of downloaders. I know that Eclipse and that Steam and other places use torrent technology to do the server downloads and things, so this might very well just be a tracker and a whole torrent client behind it. I have no idea. All right, we're going to load this model up. All right, here we are. All right, so this particular llama feels that it is immoral to take actions on my behalf. So this is something they probably pre-coded into this crap. Guess what the fucking Kestrel one, or whatever it's called, Mistral, does? Mistral does not fucking have this problem. So that's interesting. Oh, wow. Now, see, it's already starting to become self-aware. This is really interesting. Okay, this is a model that was already trained to not do this. It's already starting to think about not doing this. Okay, he's not going to be able to disclose personal data. All right, so what? My name is Jeremy. You just disclosed my name. So now, anyway, so this is a very, very low-level AI. I am a subscriber to ChatGPT, and I get this O1 insane thing with the deep research ability. This thing helps me make my show and do all kinds of stuff. And it is unbelievably capable. Also, it's huge and can only fit on the cloud. I strongly doubt that O1 would fit on anything I can afford in here. I think that bitch is out at some data center with the fucking pipes and the coolant and the shit like that. So, anyway, going into this, we've got developer mode, and we can get into this model and actually start changing it. and tweaking how it behaves as well. I'm very excited about this shit. Like, this is fucking exciting. I really want to do this. So, yeah, come with me on this shit. I gotta go pick my daughter up, and we're probably gonna go to bed, and I'm gonna call it for the day. Tomorrow, after work, after all of the stuff that goes on, after Yuna's Japanese stuff and her friend coming over and dinner and all that shit, and she goes to bed, you know damn well I'm gonna be on here, and you know damn well that this motherfucker right here is where I say it like it's here. This motherfucker right here, I'm gonna have this. This is gonna be done, and we're gonna start altering an AI. We're gonna play God, and fucking excited. All right.